Assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? How are you, Elise? Elise Taylor? Assalamu alaikum. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, that's great. Thank you. We're gonna wait just for a few more people to join us, and then I'll start with these tinctures and some of the tinctures that I make and the benefits and uses of them. Assalamu alaikum. I see another person in the chat. So we're gonna get started, and one of the tinctures I've written a lot of them down because it's a lot to remember, and a lot of the tinctures that I make is for different kinds of uses. Some of them cannot be ingested, some of them can. So you need to be careful when you're getting tinctures, when you're buying tinctures. Some of you are already familiar with that because you might be familiar with the Florida water. Yeah, I see you finally caught alive. I tried to put it in there earlier so that a lot of people could get this information. Hello, 7904 Do have a gush. Hello, how you doing, Roland? How you doing, Roland Trimble Jr.? Hi. Thank you. Hello, Terlanky. And we're going to get into making these. I'm just great. I'm just great. We're going to get into some of the tinctures that I make and some of them that um, you can use in your everyday life. Some of you are already familiar with the Florida water. The Florida water is a tincture that you make. A lot of you, when you go get your hair cut, you men, when you get your hair cut, they put some Florida water on you sometimes. Yes, Allah is the greatest. Allah Akbar. So, you want to make sure that you know that some tinctures you cannot ingest, you cannot use like the Florida water except for externally. So let us get started and get into this. I like to make a date palm tincture, and that tincture is, to soothe the body. You can ingest that tincture. And thank you so much, Duvagesh. I think that's your name. Thank you so much. So the date palm tincture for you guys out there, you can always use that, but it's good for it when you ingest it. It's good for your stamina. It's good for prostate cancer, certain illnesses in men. So you always want to get the date palm or use dates in your diet as well. That is very good for men. If you're having fertility issues, a low sperm count for guys, you want to use the date palm and you want to use the date palm tincture. I have some more good ways that it can help you out, men or women. It's good for brain fog. It's good for your libido. And it's good to prevent heart attacks and increase your sperm count as well, enhance your testosterone as men. So you want to always use the date palm tincture or order the date palm tincture. You can do that at any time at HighOracle.com and get in touch with me for a session. But you can just go to, the health food store and get date palms. And you can use the dates, the fresh dates. You can use the seed as well. They're very good for you on the inside. And I have a tendency to use the seed when I'm making my tinctures. So also, you want to read Anal. Surah and all, it you can pray over your tinctures when you're making them. I either use Surah and all 16 and 67, or I use Miriam 1925. So those are some of the good ways that you can use your tinctures and pray over everything. You always want to make sure that you're praying over your tinctures. Now, there's a couple of others that I use. This is going to be kind of long. So, I want you to make sure that you can incorporate all of these into your everyday life. So I use a cedar tincture. So I was talking about the cedar oil the other day in one of my posts on this channel. And the cedar oil is very good, but it's almost as good as the cedar tincture. I like the cedar tincture because it's good for strengthening. If you're having problems, when you're not getting up reading the Bible, if you're under attack and you don't feel like reading the Bible, and that's how you know that you're under attack sometimes. You want to use that cedar tincture and anoint yourself with it, and put it on any of the areas that you may feel tightness around your neck. So it's good for getting rid of negative energy. And you also want to be able to, anoint yourself, on your back, those tight areas in your neck when you come home from work. If you're having tenderness and tightness around your neck, in your legs areas, your ankles, or anything like that, then you want to be able to use those kind of tinctures to get rid of those negative effects or attacks that someone may also have, tried to your feet or your legs, and it's good for that too. You can also pour your bath water, and it's good for getting rid of negative energy in that way too, and relaxation. So those are some of the ways that I use the tinctures, and I make these tinctures in order to soothe pain, and so in order to soothe cough. It's good for allergic reactions, especially the dates, the date tincture, because I use the leaves and the sap in order to make that date tincture. So that's good to relieve colds and strengthen the immune system as well. So and some of them, you like I said, you cannot, ingest them, but these are some of the ones that I'm giving you that you can. So the next one that I have for you is the rosemary and thyme tincture. So that's kind of an interchangeable one. And you can use, sometimes people just order the rosemary on its own because it's good for, anti-inflammatory. It's good, to make sure that you're getting rid of eczema, anything on your skin. It's good to help you ingesting your intestines. If you're having problems with your intestines ingesting your food, it's good for all of those kinds of things. And when you want to use the anti-inflammatory, it's also good for the brain health, memory loss. It helps with acne and the skin conditions. So if you're having problems, internally or externally with your health, that rosemary and thyme tincture will help you, and you can ingest it, and you can use it in any way you want in your bath. You can just use it as a rub on your neck. And again, I make these tinctures in order to remove negative energy, certain kinds of negative energy. And assalamu alaikum. How are you, 8 speed? So these are some of the tinctures that I can, make, and make sure that I pray over them. And another one with the cedar tincture, and that is one of the biblical um, tinctures that I love to talk about, because the Psalms 92:12 talks about the cedars of Lebanon. So these are some of the tinctures that you can make. You can pray over them. You can do it on your own, and make sure that you're setting your intentions when you pray over them to get rid of the negative energy, any kinds of attacks that may be sent to you. And again, these work well at any time, at any time. And I wanted to let you know the interchangeable ones. And I was talking about the rosemary and the thyme. You can use that with any kind of interchangeable ingredient that you want. You can use that with the azalea flower, the rosemary and azalea. Some people who have problems with their appearance, we talked about that also, with people attacking their appearance, with people doing rituals and mirror magic. So some young ladies, they call me and they want the azalea and rosemary tincture, and it works well to get rid of the negative energy. Sometimes they want, the half and half tincture with the oil and, the tincture going half and half, so that they can do a rub and it'll evaporate. It's not too heavy on the skin. It doesn't clog the skin because everything is all natural. So these are some of the tinctures that will get rid of the pain, get rid of negative energy, especially when you don't want to, have to take a lot of medication, and it's always good to make sure that you stay with your doctor and consult with your doctor. Do never stop taking your medicine that your doctor has prescribed for holistic medicine unless you talk to your doctor about that. So, we want to make sure that we always say that, because we don't want anybody to go off their medication. And basically, the medicine that those doctors prescribe you is based off of the medicine and these holistic remedies that we're giving you, that I'm giving you here today. So that's why you never want to go off of your medication that your doctor has given you. And again, I love the rosemary and the thyme because it smells really great. It's anti-inflammatory. And, when you're dealing with people that have memory loss, that have memory problems, and I usually like to deal with this with people who have addictions, who have, addictions to alcohol, and they have alcoholic memory loss. It works very well to reverse those symptoms of alcohol induced memory loss. So I hope that this is great information for you, and helping you to understand what the benefits of using these kind of tinctures can do for you. And we're gonna go with the bay leaf tincture. Okay, it's getting a little bit stronger, and I always save the best for last. So the bay leaf tincture is one of those tinctures that you can use in your everyday life. It gets rid of negative energy. It gets rid of anything that's on your skin. It's an anti-inflammatory. It gets rid of cancer, cancerous cells. If you've had cancer, if you've gone through chemotherapy, then you want to kind of use that tincture as a tea. You can use it as a tea, or as, you can use the bay leaf tea itself. You can use it as a bath. You can rub your skin in the area that they poured the cancer treatment into you. So these are some of the things that you want to do, because it's an anti-inflammatory all day long, and we want to make sure that we're healing internally and externally when we have to go through such extreme cancer treatments and things of that nature. So, it's a great the bay leaf tincture is a great way to remove ulcers, and get rid of those ulcers that's in your stomach. Like I say, always make sure that you're taking your medicine and advice from your doctor. But these are, home remedies, holistic medicine. If you have ulcers in your stomach, if you're having problems with your intestines, And I've had people that have been in my life that has had problems with their stomach, and when I made that remedy for them, they overall got better, and they didn't have as many problems with their stomach going forward. But like I say, we have to also make sure that we're going to check on ourselves at the doctor. So the bay leaf treatment, it also can lower blood sugar. And this is when we're getting to an extreme level of getting the sugar, the diabetes 1 and 2. I already gave you the flour, the one that I usually give, and I can't remember it right now. I don't have it on my notes. But this is a sure way that you can treat your sugar diabetes, and you can also use it as a tea, but you can also ingest this tincture because of the way that it's made. And we wanted to get all the benefits out into our tincture so that you can use it internally and externally. And I let it sit over a couple of weeks so that all of those benefits come out into this remedy, so that you can have it. It is not for kids, so do not let kids near it or ingest it, but it is for adults, and we want to make sure that we're getting all the benefits to help lower our blood sugar, help lower our cholesterol with the bay leaf tincture. It's good for coughs and colds, asthma, all of those things. If you have mucus and inflammation when you get up in the morning in your chest, you're coughing up a lot of stuff, maybe from this pollen in the spring, you may want to use that bay leaf tincture in order to get rid of the negative energy in your body, especially if you were a smoker, especially if you use marijuana. If you use regular marijuana, and I'm going to tell you that you're not supposed to be doing that, because that creates, problems for you long term, because they have put man-made chemicals into the marijuana. Now, it's not like when I was younger, and we could have a wholesome marijuana without man-made materials in our marijuana. So you need to be careful with that. And again, now we're going on into one of our greatest. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you that bay leaf tincture, it helps to treat the gas and inside of you. If you have gas buildup inside of you, you also want to use that to get rid of it. You want to take a teaspoon in the morning, a teaspoon at night, to get rid of that gas and problems with your intestines. And on the outside of you, your skin, if you're having problems with eczema and psoriasis, if you're having problems with acne, you want to use that on the outside of you to get rid of that. And you can also use that with a basic oil treatment. I use olive oil, as a two-in-one, and it helps to evaporate deeply into your skin to get rid of anything negative, blackheads, anything like that. So, those are some of the ways that you can use the bay leaf tincture that I make. And we're going to go to my favorite of all. This is my favorite of all, to get rid of the negative energy. And this gets rid of a lot of the things that I've said. The only thing that rivals this tincture is the date palm tincture. And this is my favorite to use to get rid of negative energy. It is a sweet gum tincture. I make a sweet gum tincture, and it's one of the trees that grows in the South. It is great to get rid of negative energy. You can use any part of it to make a tincture. Some parts of the sweet gum tree is not to be ingested. It's great for removing negative energy. If someone has poisoned your feet and sent negative attacks upon your feet, if someone has tried to poison you, on your skin, your body, if someone has tried to poison you in your food, your intestine, If someone has tried to use mirror magic on you or sent the evil eye to you, it will get rid of negative energy. You know, a lot of people, like I say, they use Florida water, but it's not as great as the sweet gum tincture. The sweet gum tincture gets rid of negative energy because we prayed over it. We've set the intentions of it to, send that back right on back from where it came from. So we don't want to, you know, just go and get anything just because the populace has gotten that and been using that. A lot of people that make these tinctures or you buy these kinds of tinctures, that the intentions haven't been set over them. They haven't been prayed over. And so that's why we want to use what has been prayed over, what has been, you know, the intentions has been set to remove the negative energy, off of the body and out of the body, off of the mind. It clears the brain fog that someone is trying to send you for chaos and confusion. It removes negative entities off of you. So it's one of my favorites. It's the personal favorite that I love to use is the sweet gum tincture. And, I've been making this. My mother was making it. My grandmother was making it. And my grandmother's sister used to make it as well. And you can also use it, in addition to other herbs and spices in there. You can use the sweet gum tincture with the bay leaves, to increase the potency of it. You can use it with, things that smell good as well. The azalea, you can put the azalea in there. It can also intensify it and it makes it smell really good. Or you can use it with the rosemary and the thyme and make, a balm out of it. You can make a rub out of it. So all of these tinctures, I like to use them, in order to remove negative energy. Whenever somebody call me for certain things, I'll recommend a tincture first. And, a tincture or, a 4 thieves vinegar. Some people have asked me about, making the salts. I posted earlier this week on the types of salts that I make to get rid of negative energy. So these work well when you're using the salts, when you're using these tinctures in your bath, and they work well as a sprinkle to get rid of negative energy. As long as you prayed over them, as long as like I tell people, I can't be the only one praying for you. You have to pray for yourself and pray over your things too. Pray over your spiritual items as well, because I cannot bear your burdens. And we have to work together in that way to pray over everything that we have. And I have given you some of the prayers that I make over my tinctures. I have given you some of the prayers that I make over people when I go to, anoint them and give them spiritual bath with these tinctures, and rub their legs if they want a foot bath. I can use some of these tinctures in order to relieve the negative energy or the effects. I really don't like to use the tinctures when you have an open wound, because these tinctures can be, they can be very hot and they can burn. They have alcohol in them, so they can burn you. So you need to be very careful when you're using them with open wounds. And you want to always use them for medicinal purposes. And like I said, some of them are good for inside and outside of the body. You can use different kinds of tinctures. You can use and I use different methods. Sometimes when I use the azalea, or when I'm using a money drawing tincture, then I like to use the nutmeg tincture and make a nutmeg tincture with the rosemary and the thyme tincture. So these are some of the things that we like to make with those natural herbs, those natural healing cedars, or certain trees like the sweet gum tree, which is my favorite of all time. So, do you guys have any tinctures that you make? Or do you know any of your older people that used to make tinctures in your home? And in my home, my mom used to always make a tincture from the sweet gum tree, and that's where I get this regular use and the knowledge of how to make this tincture. And there's other uses for these herbs as well. I recommend that most of the guys that use these tinctures, I recommend that they use them because they really stop the negative attacks inside the home upon the body. When you're at work, they stop negative energy from attacking your money. They stop it from attacking your health. So, a lot of us has gotten away from the older ways of getting rid of the negative energy, but I think that it works best. Hi, Roland Trimble Jr. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. Because we want to go with the holistic ways of using these natural herbs. A lot of these herbs and spices that I'm talking about, they're found in the holy books. And that is where, my family has taken those herbs and used them over the years. So, they older people didn't go to the doctor, and they didn't let us go to the doctor because they was healing us at home. And so I'm recommending that, like COVID, when it came around, a lot of us didn't have to go to the doctor because we knew some of the herbs and things that our parents used, like these tinctures, in order to heal our breathing problems, in order to strengthen our immune system. And most of these that I have given you, all of these that I have given you, the ones that you can ingest, will strengthen your immune system. So these are the type of things that we like to do in our community, that we want to pass on to our children, because we don't want to keep spending a whole lot of money. We got the flu, we got all of this, and they're steady manufacturing things, in scientists' labs, in order to test out on our people. So we want to make sure that we're first praying over whatever spiritual items that we have, whatever God has given us from his earth. We want to make sure that we pray over it, and we can use these things as holistic medicine in order not to spend money on these, going to the doctor every time, going to the hospital all the time. But, we need to know the difference. And like I say, we want to make sure that we talk to our doctors. We want to make sure that we are in tune, that if we need to go to the hospital or anything else, we can use that as a right of way. So, one of the ways that I like to use the tinctures is especially for guys, because guys don't like to go to the doctor. My father didn't like to go to the doctor. He still doesn't like to go to the doctor. But one of the ways for guys, and I want to make sure, if you're having problems, and I know a lot of people have the problems with their prostate as men. I know that they have problems with their urinary tract and things of that nature. That date palm tincture is one of the best remedies to get rid of the negative energy and help you guys out. And I hope that you guys are enjoying my channel. I hope that you're picking up some things that you can do. You can always reach out to me at any time on HighOracle.com. You can reach out to me if you want to know any herbs that might clash with each other, or if you just want to talk to me about something that's going on in your life, something that's peculiar, something that's spiritual. If you're having relationship problems, if you're trying to attract a wife, you can call me, and we can set up um, or book a session so that you can, get the help that you need. I had someone on my channel, in my comments earlier, saying that they were feeling heavy, like someone was attacking them. Yes, you can always reach out to me, and I got a $25 a consultation fee where we can talk to me and get some tips to relieve those kinds of attacks, in the moment. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you reach out to me, leave a comment, or you can book a session at HighOracle.com. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. I appreciate all your time and support. Assalamu alaikum.